Hey guys, it's Haley. So, I'm just gonna tell my Warped Tour experience. Yay! I have such a boring life.
I wouldn't hold my breath if I was you, 'cause I'll forget but I'll never forgive you. And now you know, true friends stand you in the front.
Me and Cassie were just sitting there and we were like talking. We're like, it'd be so cool if we went to Warped Tour. This was like 3 days before Warped Tour, and we're talking about how badly we wanted to go. And I have never been to Warped Tour before, and Warped Tour was literally the day before my birthday this year. So I was like, I need to go. She's like, well, my dad said that he would pay for tickets, but I never could find a ride, so we just kind of pushed that off. And I'm like, I'll give you a ride. And so she talked to her dad, and I talked to my mom, and they're like, well, I don't feel comfortable with you going alone. And I'm like, Mom, I need this. And she's like, okay, fine. You know what? Get the freaking tickets so you can go. And after that, we got into Warped Tour, and he's like, okay, you guys have fun, and he left us. We started walking around, and we just were doing what you normally do on Warped Tour, and you be like the little freshman kids, and you're sitting there looking at a schedule and everything. And we walked around for a little bit, and then oh my god, I almost cried at this part, but we basically got over by the Say We Can Fly and the YouTuber tent, and they were both there. And I got in line to get to see Say We Can Fly, or Brendan, whatever you want to call him, but there was 2 people in line. And I get behind the person, and the lady's like, oh, sorry, you can't see him. And I'm like, I'm one person, I'm okay, can't I just see him and get a signature? She's like, no, it's not okay, blah, blah, blah. And so he was like waving at me and talked from a distance, and I'm like, okay. And so some dude offered me his like little autograph paper. After that, a few tents down was the freaking YouTubers tent. And I about cried because, I wanted to meet all the YouTubers. So I had drew something for Johnny, and I gave it to a girl to give to him that was like working the tent, and I was like so close to them. I started bawling my eyes out because I couldn't meet them, and I was so upset. And then we were just walking around. We went to go see Attila, which was the best thing ever. It was amazing, and so we started walking back to where we were, and this woman with like a bunch of people following her came up to us, and she's like, oh, hey, do you guys want to do something really cool? And we're like, well, what is it? Because we were kind of like suspicious because it was a random person. She's like, well, would you guys like to work backstage and serve the people food? And we're like, oh my gosh, yes. And she's like, you also get backstage passes to Black Veil Brides. And I'm like, ah, I about died. I'm like, oh my gosh. She took us backstage. We got to meet a lot of the bands on Warped Tour. We couldn't take pictures or get autographs because, we weren't allowed to like fangirl or anything because they were getting food. Which I respect that. I didn't really care. I got to meet them. The first bigger band that came in was Asking Alexandria. Everybody tells me that Dennis is such a dick, but he came up to me and he was really freaking sweet. So he's like, I like your hair. And I'm like, dead. And I'm just gonna say, he smells just as good as he looks. We also got to see Never Shout Never. The best thing of the night was Johnny Gilbert, Jordan Sweeto, and Damon Fizzy. They came in and they got food and they sat there talking to us for a little bit. I died. Also, we got to meet the lead singer of Capture the Crown. And him we got to take pictures with because he was just walking around, and we were like, oh my gosh, I was talking to him for like 30 minutes and it took me so freaking long to realize it was him. I was so mad at myself. But then later on, after all the freaking backstage work, we got to go backstage to the Black Veil Brides concert. I got to see Black Veil Brides like walk up onto the stage, and they were like attractive, and oh my gosh. And I was like this freaking far from Andy, and I'm like, oh. And then we went home. And then we bawled for days because we weren't at Warped Tour anymore. That's my Warped Tour story. But yeah, so catch me next week. I post on Wednesdays, as you know. I love you guys, and peace out.